Good morning, everybody. Mrs. Knowles here. I've got my camera all set up, ready to do a lesson here for you. As I mentioned in my welcome video this morning, we'll be doing little short mini lessons throughout the week. Sometimes they'll be in this format where you see a workspace and I do some little short lessons with you. And sometimes it might be a YouTube video with a pre-recorded lesson that's got some really great information in it. I found a few of those that we're going to be sending out this week. But either way, every morning this week during our place value unit, you're going to be seeing a little mini lesson. It just could come in a different form. So today we're going to talk about the place value chart, and then we're going to talk about different forms of numbers, different ways that you can represent a number, including standard form, word form, expanded form, and expanded notation. Okay? All right, let's jump right in. So this is a place value chart. Let me see if I can zoom in just a little bit. Bear with me. There we go. So on a place value chart, we see our decimal places here. Everything to the left of the decimal place would be considered a whole number, okay? 1 or greater. Everything to the right-hand side of the decimal place is going to be less than 1 whole. Okay, you could also consider it a fractional part of a 1 whole. Okay, so within this place value unit, we're also going to be learning how decimals and fractions relate to each other. That'll be coming up in a few days. But for now, let's take a look at a few examples of numbers using a place value chart. For example, if I wanted you to place the number 27 on a place value chart, your 2 would go into the tens place, its value would be 20, and then your 7 would go into the ones place, and its value would be 7. Together, the 2 and the 7 would make 27. Okay? Now, if I asked you to give me a value that's 10 times greater than 27, that means your 2 that was in the tens place and your 7 that's in the ones place, they're going to shift one space to the left. They're going to be a greater number now. Okay, so now if the 2 is in the hundreds place, its value is no longer 20 like it was here. Now its value is going to be 200. Okay, and the 7 that was once here in the ones place is now moving to the tens place, and its new value is going to be 70. Now, what will we put here? Instead of having a blank, we would just put a 0 to represent that there are not any ones in this number. So we went from 27 up to 270. We just shifted our 2 and our 7 this way. Now, if I asked you to give me a number that's 10 times the value of 270, you would just do the same thing that you did to go from 27 to 270. Continue shifting one space to the left to make your number greater. So your 2 that was in the hundreds place, it would now be in the thousands place. So its value would be 2,000. Your 7 that was in the tens would now be in the hundreds, and its value would now be 700. We don't have any tens and we don't have any ones, so we would use zeros as placeholders, and it's very common in the unit of measure that we use for United States. We just use a comma. Okay, that separates the thousands period from the units or the ones period. Okay, let me zoom back out so you can see the whole chart. So every time you see 3 spaces, for every 3 spaces, we call that a different period. Now, I don't mean period like you put at the end of a sentence. I mean period as in a group of numbers. Okay, so this would be the units period, sometimes referred to as the ones period. This would be the thousands period, and this would be the millions period. Okay, now we will talk a little bit about billions this year, but we're not going to get there yet. That's pretty high. So within this units period is the ones place, the tens place, and the hundreds place. Within this thousands period is the thousands place, the 10,000s place, and the 100,000s place. And then you guessed it, within the millions period, we have the millions place, the 10 millions place, and the 100 millions place. Okay, now you're going to see a place value chart pretty similar to this. It's got lots of pretty colors just like this one. It's going to be located in your interactive math notebook that I told you about in the welcome video this morning. It's going to be on slide number 4. It's very colorful. You'll see it as soon as you look at your interactive notebook table of contents. Okay? You'll be able to use it as a reference as we go throughout this unit. All right, so let's move over, as I mentioned before, to the different forms of numbers. Okay? All right, so we have standard form, word form, expanded form, and we have expanded notation. Now these two sound similar, but I'm going to teach you what the differences are. Okay? So let's start with standard form. And I'm just going to pick a random number. I'll start with a 3-digit number. Let's say my number is 843. Okay, so standard form just means that I'm going to write, I think I'm going to use a marker so it's brighter than a pencil. All right, so standard form is just the regular way to write a number. So I would just write an 8, a 4, and a 3. Okay, 8 is in the hundreds place, its value is 800. 4 is in the tens place, its value is 40. And 3 is in the ones place, its value is 3. So altogether, 843. Now word form is just like it sounds. You're going to write this number, but you're going to write it out in words. So you'll write it just like it sounds. 840-3. Now, one thing you probably learned in 3rd grade is all 2-digit numbers between 21 and 99 get a hyphen, other than all the numbers that are values, or excuse me, multiples of 10. So like 30 obviously wouldn't need a hyphen because it's just 30, but 32, 39, 43, 87, 99, you can hyphenate them, 43. So 843 written in word form. So these two have equal value because they're the same number, they're just written in 2 different ways. Okay? Now let's look at this this next square. This next one is expanded form. Okay, when you think about expanding a number, I want you to think about when you blow up a balloon. You know, a balloon starts very small, and as you add air to it, what happens? It expands, right? It gets bigger. So essentially, you're stretching out the latex, the balloon, to make it larger. We're going to do the same thing with the number. We're going to stretch it out and make it bigger. So we're going to take all the parts. So remember, it was 843. Our first digit is 8. Its value is 800, right? And then we have 43. Its value is 40. And then we have 3 in the ones place. Its value is 3. And expanded form means we take these values and we add them together to give us our number, which was 843. Sorry, that's an equal sign. So 843 is equal to 800 plus 40 plus 3. So it's the sum, remember sum is when you add numbers, the sum of the values of each digit, okay? Now expanded notation, they have the same word, expanded and expanded, but they're a little bit different, okay? Expanded notation is going to throw a few new symbols in there. Well, they may be new to you, you may be used to them, but you're going to use parentheses. Okay, so start with your open parentheses. All right, so we'll start with our first digit. So it's 8, and we're going to multiply it by the place that it's in. Okay, so it's in the hundreds place, so we'll do 8 times 100, and then we're going to close the parentheses. That shows that that's going to be the value of our very first digit, 800. Okay, and then we're going to add it to the value of the second digit. Okay, so it's similar to what we did here, but we're breaking it down even further. Instead of 800, we're doing 8 times 100 because it's in the 100s place. Okay, so 8 times the value of the place that it's in. 8's in the hundreds place, we're multiplying 8 times 100. Next, we have a 4 in the tens place, so we're going to multiply 4 times 10. And we put it also in a set of parentheses on its own, just like we did here, to show that they're different places. 8 in the hundreds place, plus 4 in the tens place, plus, we're going to go to the next row, we have a 3 in the ones place, so we'll get a new set of parentheses, 3 times 1. Okay, so here's the first digit, 800, plus the second digit, 40, plus the third digit, 3, which gives us a total of 843. Okay, I'd like to do one more example. Let me get a fresh sheet here. This time I'm going to make it a little bit bigger number. We're going to go into the 10,000s place. Okay, so remember on our place value chart, the 10,000s place is here. Okay, so I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers that come before the decimal. So it's going to be a whole number. Remember I said anything to the left of a decimal is a whole number. So I'll have all 5 digits. Okay, so again, I'll just be random. Next time maybe I'll bring a dice with me over here to my desk, so when I'm filming I can use a dice to roll numbers. But today we'll do, let's do a 6, a 2, a 4, a 0, and a 1. The 0 is going to be something very special. I'll show you once we get down into these expanded form and expanded notation. Zeros are special. You have to do something special for them. Okay, so standard form, remember standard just means the regular old way to write a number. Okay, just using the digits to create this numeral. Okay, so 62,401. Now, just like you read it, that's how you write it. Okay, 62,401. So I'm going to write it in word form. Remember, hyphenate your double digit numbers. 60-2,000. I'm going to put a comma because there's a comma here too. So you write it just like you would read it here. 62,000, comma, 401. Just like that. 62,000, comma, 401. Okay. Now let's write it in expanded form. Remember, expanded is like a balloon. We blow it up. It gets bigger and bigger. We're stretching it out. We're writing the values of each of these digits based on where they are in a place value chart. So remember, 6 is in the 10,000s. So it's worth 60,000. Plus the value of the 2. Well, 2 is in the thousands place. So of course its value would be 2,000. Plus our next digit is a 4. It's in the hundreds place. So its value is 400. Next, we have a 0. It's in the tens place. So if we have a 0 in the tens place, its value is 0. Okay, there are no tens, therefore there is no value. Therefore, we don't have to write anything for the tens place. We just skip right over it and we go to the next place that has value. That would be the ones place. There's a 1 in the ones place, which means that its value is 1. So we have 60,000 plus 2,000 plus 400 plus 1. Remember, we skipped right over the 0 because it has no value. Altogether, we have a total of 62,401. And then finally, let's write the same number in expanded notation. Okay? In other words, we're making note of each of the place values, how much that digit is worth in the place that it's in. So starting with the 6, remember each number is going to get its own set of parentheses. So we have a 6 and it's in the 10,000s place, ones, tens, hundreds, comma, thousands, 10,000s. So we're going to do 6 times the place that it's in, which is the 10,000s place, plus we have a 2 in the thousands place, so 2 times 1,000, plus we have a 4 in the hundreds place, so we'll do 4 times 100 inside those parentheses, plus, again, we have a 0. Remember, just like when we wrote it here, we just skipped right over it. It has no value. It would be a waste of your pencil or your marker, like I have, to write all of that. Sorry, phone call.